Hey, what's up guys? It's Randy and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about using iPads on stage. Some people love it, some people hate it. We're gonna talk about the top apps, the top accessories, and of course, the pros and the cons. So let's get right to it. First things first, if you wanna use an iPad on stage, you're gonna wanna get a clip or a stand that'll hold up an iPad, so you don't just wanna put it up on a music stand. It's gonna fall, it's gonna break, you're gonna be really unhappy. There certainly are some solutions for that. These are iPad clips. This one is from a company called iClip. This one is by Yorkville, which I believe is just a Canadian company. Both of these, by the way, run for about, I wanna say $49, maybe about $39. So with this style, you actually get rubber sides that kind of snap in. There's no top or bottom, it just kind of holds it on the side. Or I guess you could probably put the whole iPad in there. I'm not actually sure if it fits, but cool design, really, really cheap hardware. These are plastic screws. Like that's not gonna last a couple hundred gigs. Second option is this guy. So one thing here is if you break these tabs here, you're pretty much done because it won't hold your iPad anymore. But one gigantic oversight, so yes, they have these giant chunky metal pieces, which like I used this on a cruise ship for 3.5 months and it's working perfectly. I'm very happy with it. This side, however, they didn't consider that you might want to put this on a stand facing you like this. They kind of built it to go like that. What I wanted to do is have my mic stand coming up like this and then clip it to the boom and then screw it in and have it face me. To do this, I actually had to modify this. So I don't know if you can see, but that circle that I cut out there versus how it came, which was like that. So if I clip this to a stand, it's not really pointing at my face, which is kind of dumb, versus what I did there with a little cutout notch. Now I can flip this all the way over and then put it up on the stand. It's really kind of dumb. It's a bit of an oversight that they did that, but I gotta say the hardware on this, it's metal, it's chunky, it's not going anywhere. Yes, of course, there are also a dozen other stand options out there. You can find a whole bunch, ones that hold them differently, ones that will clamp it if you have a case on. One downside of these is they don't work very well if you have a case on it. So you kind of have to take it in and out of your case every time you have a gig. It's a bit of a hassle, but something to keep in mind. The next thing I'd recommend if you're gonna use an iPad for gigs is get one of these guys. This is just an external USB power bank. I'm not sure what the specs are, 12,000 milliamp hours. I don't even know what that means. I do know that this can charge my wife's iPad and mine completely to full. I'll bring this to a gig just in case for whatever reason I get there, my iPad is dead. I know I'm covered. The last iPad accessory that I could not live without on my gigs is this guy. This is the AirTurn BT105. This is a Bluetooth pedal, which basically allows you to turn pages and that's it. It lets you turn pages. Something that's really cool about this guy paired with the software that we'll get into in a minute is that when you're turning pages on this guy, it'll actually allow you to turn pages on both tablets. So my wife and I, we always use the same sheet music, but we use it on 2 different iPads. So what's great is I can press one button, turns pages on both devices. All right, so let's jump into some of the iPad apps that I use here. The first one I wanna show you guys is an app called ForScore. And this is basically a PDF reader, but built specifically for musicians. So at the face value, it's really just a PDF reader. You're going page to page. You can't change keys of your music or anything like that. It's just PDFs. But what's cool is all the additional functionality they've added for musicians. So things like set lists, you can share and collaborate on different set lists. So you can see my wife and I have set lists here for each event. You can click in and of course browse by manual or alphabetical or however you'd like to organize them. Makes it really simple to find music in a hurry. And of course, there are some other features geared for musicians in the settings here, so you can annotate as well as add musical notation. So I don't use this feature too much, but it's definitely great to have to, you know, if you're in a rehearsal situation or something like that, you can scribble down some notes pretty quickly. And there's some other great features for musicians, you know, piano built in, there's a metronome, pitch pipe, tuner, just some nice other features to have. One function I think is really cool is this button function. So basically you can add a button that's gonna control any one of these parameters. So you can actually just create a button, put it up wherever you want on the screen. And then when you click that button, you can link it to an audio file. So it'll play like a backing track or a metronome or anything that you choose. Then there are a bunch of additional settings for musicians. So things like how the pages turn, There's a half page mode, so when you press next, it'll show you the first half of the next page, so you can kind of get a preview of what's coming up. Of course, it also works with the Apple Pencil, so if you need to annotate quickly, you can use that as well. The one feature I could not live without is the ability to share set lists. So you can share by text, set list, you can include the scores. I always use include scores and extras. That way it sends all my annotations to the people I'm playing with as well. It works really well with a page turner. It's definitely a tool that I'd recommend, as well as for turning multiple devices. One giant downside is if the Bluetooth device is connected to your tablet and you want to write like a text box, like a freeform text box, it won't actually bring up the keyboard. It's like a little bug with this specific pedal, and I think that they've fixed it in future iterations, but it's definitely something to look out for. The next app I want to show you guys is the Peterson Strobe Tuner. Functionally speaking, this is just a really nice tuner. It's nice and bright. You can customize the colors on the screen, and it just works really, really well. And then when you go into the additional features, this is my favorite part, is that there's sweeteners built for every instrument. So I use these on pedal steel. And essentially what the sweeteners are temperaments designed for each instrument. So you can actually add in some other sweeteners. Let's say we want the guitar pack, for instance. This is gonna make sure that your instrument's in tune no matter what type. So whether you're playing DADGAD or a short scale, anything like that. And the third and final app I wanna show you is the Soundcraft UI mixer. It's built for this guy here, which is a digital mixer, and this is the iPad app that accompanies it. So right now we've got it in a demo mode, so it looks like there's music coming through. Really what this is gonna allow you to do is go through your mix with a fine-tooth comb, and you can do things like EQ profiles, different compressor settings, effect sends, monitor mixes, etc. And what's great is that you can actually save these presets into different set lists. So my wife and I will show up to a gig, we'll upload our Randy and Bailey wedding profile, and plug it into a PA system, and we're good to go. It's really that simple. And that's it for iPad apps. These are definitely 3 that I couldn't live without, and 3 that I pretty much use on every single gig. There are definitely a lot of advantages to using an iPad on stage, but it did take some getting used to. I mean, you only have this size of a screen to work with, so it takes some adjusting, and of course you can't see the second page unless you use the half page feature in ForScore. So it does take some getting used to, and it takes some consideration when you're getting your set ready to go. But the advantages that come with using a iPad on stage, I mean, you've got a built-in tuner, you've got metronomes, you can change keys of your music, and of course, you're not dragging around binders of music anymore. I mean, long are the days of that. I bring this thing, it's that thick. I can literally slide it in a pouch in my guitar case, and the rest is history. And it's gonna clip right to my music stand too, so it lets me work with musicians in a really fast capacity. I can show up to a gig, they can airdrop me the set list, and I just load it up and we're off to the races. So are you guys already using an iPad on stage? I would love to know what kind of apps you guys use for your music. Please feel free to post that down below in the comment section, right below that like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we'll see you in the next one.